Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today in the Combs kitchen, and I'm going to try to make a pound of cornbread. Now, the first thing you do is you set your oven to 375. That's what I set it on. Other people might do it differently, but you need it to cook slow. So you want it to be at a low temperature, but I like for it to have a crispy outer shell. So I kind of meet it in the middle and do it 375. So that's how I do it. Other people might be different. So, and then you need a cast iron skillet, and then you gotta grease it with good old Crisco. I'm going to do that right now. This is to keep your cornbread from sticking to the bottom of the pan. I just get me a little bit like that. Make sure your hands are good and clean. And you just put a coat of grease on it. Now, when I became a teenager and I tried to learn from Mama how to make the cornbread, I wouldn't listen, and I tried to coat my pan with butter instead of Crisco, and she'd say, "No, son, that ain't gonna work, son." And she was right, because a lot of times some of it would end up sticking to the pan when I tried the butter. But when you use Crisco, it all comes out and doesn't stick. So that's the good thing about using Crisco, is it works. And see, now I got a good greasy pan. Now I need to get me a mixing bowl to mix my batter in. We're going to use this right here. I used to have a red mixing bowl, and I think Nicholas used it to water the dogs, and it disappeared on me. I don't know where it went. I haven't seen it in a week or two, so it's probably disappeared. Here we go. You're going to need white lily, all self-rising flour. You will also need some of this white lily self-rising cornmeal. I gotta get me a measuring cup. Now, does it matter what kind of flour or cornmeal you use? In my opinion, it definitely does. Now, my daddy and my mom, they all used white lily, and I love it. Now, when I used to go down there to Granny's, on my mom's side, she used nothing but Martha White. And all my cousins used to brag and love her cornbread and her biscuits made with that Martha White flour. And I'll tell you, I didn't like it. I didn't like it near as good as Mom's. To me, Mom could cook better than Granny. Now, my cousins, they'll probably hate my guts for saying that, but that's just my feelings. And they all loved her cooking, and I'm glad they did. I mean, they bragged it to death. But for me personally, I prefer White Lily to Martha White. Now that's how I feel. So you need 2 cups of cornmeal. So I'm going to measure it out right here. Oop. And you want to try not to get it all over the kitchen. I'll tell you, if it's better to put a little bit more in there than a little bit less. You've heard the old saying, less is more. Well, when you're making cornbread, more is more. Oop, I knocked it all over myself. Now that's 2 cups of cornmeal, and I use 1 cup of flour. So, and when I measure, I always try to, if I, put a little bit extra, it doesn't hurt. So, now Michelle doesn't cook cornmeal very often, cornbread. So she puts her cornmeal down in a Ziploc bag to keep it good and fresh because she doesn't use it that much. So I'm putting it right back in there for her. That keeps the woman of the house happy. Happy wife, happy life. That's what they say. Now I got to put in 1 egg, 1 cup of milk, and 1 cup of water. That's how I do it. Now Michelle, she just puts straight milk in there, and when she does that, I think it might be a little bit too doughy. When you put that water in there, to me, I think it aerates it a little bit when it bakes, and it comes out a more dry cornbread. So that's the way I like it anyway. I got my eggs here. Now the egg, all it does is hold your cornbread together and keep it from falling apart. Now, all you need is 1 egg to do this. But some people call for 3 or 4 eggs or 2 eggs, whatever. All they're doing is wasting eggs. Because all you need is 1 to hold it together. Now I put 2 in because sometimes, if I'm just making it for myself, I don't care if it crumbles a little bit. But if I'm making it for company, or if I'm making it for a video to go on YouTube, something like that, I'll go ahead and put an extra egg in there, put 2 eggs in there. That way when you put it on the plate, it won't fall apart. And, if I'm by myself, I don't care if it falls apart a little bit. But since we're doing this video, we'll just put an extra egg in there. Make sure, be double sure it doesn't crumble when you get done. Like I said, the egg, it don't change the flavor none. It just acts as a binder. Now, that's a cup of milk, and I'm going to add a cup of water to it. So I got 2 cups of liquid here. Looky there. Poured it right in there. I'm going to add my egg here. Woo! We got 2 eggs right in there. Now comes to stirring it. Now this right here is called a whisk, and it's what I use to stir my cornbread with. And when you use this right here, it ensures that your cornbread isn't going to have no lumps in it, because this whisk, all them little wires there, it gets every one of them clumps right out. It's an amazing deal. Now there's some people that they like to put sugar in their cornbread. I don't. I do not do that. That is not something that I do. And people question whether or not it's southern or northern, or I don't think it has anything to do with what region you're from. I think back in the Depression, people used to just buy the bare necessities, and sugar was hard to come by, and they only used sugar on special occasions. So probably what it is if you came from a rich household, it had sugar in it, and if you was poor, you left the sugar out. And I got money to buy sugar with now, but it's just a matter of preference. Well, I know that woman, what's her name, Michelle, that's got that restaurant down there in Tennessee? Paula Dean. Paula Dean, she puts sugar in her cornbread. Well, that's how she likes it. I don't. Well, I think I got it all stirred enough. Let's see here. I want to pour it in there. Now, I'm not for sure how long it takes this to cook, because me and Mom, we've always just kind of winged it. You know, like when you smell it, it smells about done, or, you know, just one of them things that we always just guessed at. And what we did was a lot of times we weren't sure about, we'd pull it out and we'd take a toothpick and stick down in there, and if it came out clean, we knew it was done. If it had any batter on it, we knew it needed to bake longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this, and we'll get back to you when it's about done baking. But you see there, oh, well, shoot, I spilt some of it. But that's all right. It wasn't much. We'll bake it, and then we'll get back to you, and we'll show you the finished product. Hello, I'm back. Michelle and Nicholas wanted me to tell y'all what we was having with that cornbread tonight. Well, let me take you over here and show you. Because Nicholas, he kind of helped with supper tonight. And this is him right there. That's my boy Nicholas. And he's over here stirring this big pot of vegetable soup.
And folks, let me tell you, when he says helped, he means I've cooked the whole thing so far.
You didn't make the cornbread. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you didn't peel it or slice the potatoes.
I've cooked the hamburger.
Folks, everybody knows that peeling and slicing the potatoes is the main important part, and that's what I did. Well, I'm anxious to get this cornbread, and it ain't nowhere near done because I just put it in. But we'll see you in a few minutes, alright? Hello, I'm back, and I just pulled the cornbread out of the oven, and it looks pretty good. It didn't turn out. It kind of stuck to the pan a little bit. I probably should have put a thicker layer of Crisco on it, but I wasn't paying attention, I guess. But looky there. It came out pretty good. That ain't too bad, is it? Has a little bit of imperfections, but I'm not perfect. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to test a piece of this here. I'm going to put me some butter on it. I got me a paper plate here. Looky there. Look at the steam coming off that cornbread. Man, that looks good. I'm telling you, some people that has to have that sugar, they might not like this, but I can tell you I'm getting ready to really enjoy this because I like it without sugar. Looky there, I got all that mouth watering butter on there. That is good. That is so good. That's going to be so good with that vegetable soup here in a minute. Looky there. Put me some even more mouth-watering butter on there. And I use good old country crock. Man, that's good. This is so good. I'm surprised Nicholas isn't in here begging me for a bite of this. He don't know what's good. These young kids, they, man, that's good. My butter fell off. There ain't nothing worse than losing your butter. Now I like stuff hot, and this just came out of the oven. Look at that. Man, I did a good job on that cornbread. Well, 'cause I. 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 'C Mom in heaven, I did what I could to pass on a good tradition. You know, I remember Mom and Dad on both sides. Cornbread was a staple at every family dinner, every get together. We had cornbread. Now it's not around so much, but I love eating it. I'm glad that that's one of the things that dear old Mom passed down to me, and now I'm passing it down to you all. I hope my kids and grandkids get to watch this and and so that they can make it for themselves. Well, I love you. I'm glad you tuned in. I'll see you next time. Bye.